Hey Garth Gang, welcome to the weekly update. A new thing I'm going to be doing most weeks on the weekend. It's just going to be telling you what I've been doing during the week because there's not always anything happening enough to fill out a 10-minute video. So I thought about this and this is what I'm going to be doing from now on. I've been watching Shack Central, great content creator on Twitch. He has started the All for One challenge, which was made famous by Lighty, collecting one unique in the unique tab in the SSF softcore environment. So Shack Central started doing that, so I thought I'd hop over to Lighty's Twitch, give him a follow, see what he's up to. Then I went onto his YouTube and I've watched most of his All for One YouTube playlist from episode 1, and I'm now up to about Sentinel League, and this really has grounded me in what I want to do in Path of Exile. Now I like collecting things in standard. I've got permanent builds I'd like to keep updated in standard, and I have great fun in standard because I've got all this raw power and almost unlimited currency to a certain extent. So what I'm probably going to do now, starting in 3.20, is playing the league for about 4 to 6 weeks, test it out, have good fun, and try and get the new div cards and new uniques, and generally get hold of some gear that I might want in standard that's going to be a lot cheaper in the league. And then for the back end of the normal 3-month period of PoE league, I will just be playing standard because that's what I like to do. With that in mind, I went and updated my filters. With this in mind, I've still collecting my divination card stacks, and I've also looked at my uniques, and I did a lot of farming. I killed quite a few map bosses. I did a lot of bestiary. I did some heist, more heist, some blight maps, and I managed to collect quite a few new uniques. And I'm not ashamed to say I brought quite a few uniques because they are boss drops, and I cannot do the bosses. They only drop from the bosses, and I can't do them because of my medical conditions. So I didn't feel any guilt about buying them for content that I'm never going to be able to do. So I brought those, and we'll have a look at my unique stash tab in a moment. So what we'll do first is go through the leagues, have a look at the characters. Some of them I'll just talk about without logging into the actual league. Others I'll go through quite in depth. That's the idea behind these videos, just to see what I've been up to, see how my characters are progressing. In the link below, along with Lighty's playlist for his All for One series, you'll see the Google document for my characters in standard, so you can have a look. Now most of my characters in standard have legacy gear that you cannot get outside of standard, or gear that has been crafted that you'd either have to craft yourself or will be ridiculously expensive because they're very specific. So let's start off with the hardcores. Nothing's much happened. This character has not been touched since my video explaining why I switched over, and all of these are on my hardcore achievement non-league series. So if you want to know what's going on there, please go and have a look. Calandra League, I haven't logged on to this character. I realised I got it to level 81, and I realised that it doesn't have enough gear to do what I want to do. And because I deleted the 2 highest characters that I had in Calandra, I can't really farm currency. So these are the 5 Omni farming characters. I haven't done any Omni farming this week since I made the video about it. I just haven't bothered logging in. On to standard, the baby heister is the baby heister. I've upgraded most of its gems now to 20% quality by flipping them on my other characters. So all the gems now are maxed out for the level on the quality. Most of them have got the correct alternate quality versions. So that's that. As you can see, they're all on quality. Yeah, there we go. Other than efficacy, because the version I want is really expensive and I can't afford it at the moment. Nothing's really changed on this character. Nothing really will. I'll upgrade the malevolence at some point to the correct quality. But other than that, the gear probably won't change. It's all decent gear. These flasks need re-rolling, I think. Need to get increased duration rather than max charges on those two. That's a legacy flask, and that's almost the best flask I can get for the level. It's finding a high level sanctified life flask that I can use, and then just spending ridiculous amounts of alt orbs crafting it. But other than that, the character's fine with its very rare amulet, Sovereignty. I've dropped one of the Hooper of All to buff my Chaos Resist on this character. It does have Purity of Elements as well. Somewhere. There is. So we've got max Chaos Resist by dropping the worst of the Hooper of Alls I had, and then grabbing this from my tab, and then thwacking some quality on there and doing a bit of crafting. So that's replaced that. I think I upgraded the belt, maybe. I'm not sure what else I did. I had a bit of a crafting kind of thing. The second hand weapons are holding gems for my gem collection, which I'll get into a bit later. The Death Oath character, I don't think anything's changed on this character at all. No, it's still the same. It has changed. This is now my Blight map farmer. It did do a Blight Ravaged map. I did put out a video. I didn't roll the Blight Ravaged map. I threw some annoyance on it and went in with this character, and it was fine. The next one I'll do when I'm brave enough is to roll one properly and go in and see how I do. But other than that, so we've now got, rather than having the totem, we've changed it to Frostbrink Life Tap, and we've put a Cast on Death portal. Just so if I am running around and I happen to die, I can just whiz back in and the portal will be where I died, and hopefully I can save the pump. That's a general idea. We have changed the annoyance on the rings to now go for the Meteor Tower, Burning Ground, and Empowering have 25% increased effect. This is based on an old video from Badger back about 6 months ago. He did a lot of testing and found that these two annoyance were the best for Blight Ravage, and he is not wrong. So that's that. I haven't changed the tree at all. The tree is still the same. Hasn't really undergone any changes at all. I may change the cluster jewels if I get better ones at some point, but other than that, it works. So yeah, that's that one. The explosive arrow. Right, let's go down to this one first. This character is, as the name suggests, farms all my blueprints, my I8 level 83 blueprints and my I level 83 heists. As you can see, I've made a massive dent in the ones I had. I've picked up a ton of gear that I need to roll, but I need to really sit down and do a list of the gear I have, what the rolls are on there, and what rolls I ideally want. However, the problem with this character is it can only do heist. It doesn't do well in maps. So it's a bit of a one-trick pony, and I don't like it. Not only that, because I play Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain on the Baby Heister, I don't really want to play this character because it's the same setup. It's just a little bit faster and a little bit more powerful. It's also holding on to a rather nice Ashes of the Stars. So I'd much rather have that on a different character and actually disassemble this character. With that in mind, my Explosive Arrow character, which I did all the testing on for Trickster Explosive Arrow, was level 85. I then down leveled it to 67 to do the 67-68 Gianna reveal farm. So I had loads of perception contracts here, counter thaumaturgy here, and then all the deception ones here, and then some lock picking ones to generate the currency I spent on a new build, which I'll go into a bit later. So this character will be taken over as a blueprint farmer once I get some more levels. I much prefer this character. It's fast, it does damage, and it doesn't die. It's not as fast as the Raider, although it does get up there a bit. It's also got automated flaskies, and because it's a trickster, it gets access to the automated charges. So you'll see eventually the charges go up after a while. There it goes. So the flasks are constantly refilling themselves, and then as soon as it gets to full, they'll kick off. And it often happens when I'm standing around in my hideout not doing anything. So that's quite handy in heist as well. So this character will become my high level heister as soon as I get some more levels on there. So yeah, this character is going into that. I'm slowly following the guide I put out for this character. Now this character has already killed Kitava Act 10, and as you can see has Uber ascended. I just need to change the passive tree as and when I get the correct nodes. I need to redo this bit from the 67 to the heist beyond part as depicted in the guide I put out for this build. So that's that. Nothing. I don't think much is going to change. I might revisit it as I play it in the level A783 area. But the main reason why I've stopped is because I was finding that I was coming off of the baby heist character early to then just farm Gianna reveals, and you don't get a lot of chaos recipe stuff at that level. Not as much as I do in the baby heist version. Also, it takes a long time to go up to 68, and then you immediately shift that back down to 67. And there was a couple of times where I didn't get any contracts from the vendor, not the ones I wanted anyway, which is why I also started to include lockpicking. And I was getting very frustrated with it. And not only that, I can grind reveals out faster on my baby heist than I can on this character. So with that in mind, and also this character can map really well. So this will become probably quite a good character to do, the heisting and do mapping if I want to. Whereas the Raider is just pure heist and nothing else. So there goes the flasks. Eventually that Raider will be deleted, and I'll do a video when I do that to see how you can go through how much it costs, etc, etc. And this character will take over that role. That's that character. We go down to the Delving character now. Now, Delving character is coming on very nicely. However, I am now stuck on this character. It's done really well, but I'm finding now my generator is looking really good. I've maxed out all the dynamite stuff. I need one more flare to get to 20 flares. As you can see, my azurite is getting there slowly. Max the duration out. I need to get the max flares to 20. This will never be maxed. These two don't get maxed. This will get maxed, so I need to get the 20 there and then start maxing this out. But I'm down to depth 395. It's the deepest I've ever been in Delve, and I'm starting to find that this character is having problems. Probably it's gear related. But the next node I need to go down to is this one. So we've got lots of crit, we've got chain, we've got can't be taunted, we've got max life as energy shield, chance to suppress all my spells, and it can't be action speed can't be modified. So the chill and freeze I'm doing is I haven't gone down there yet because I ran out of sulfite. So I have to grind some more sulfite. As you can see, I've got quite a lot of sulfite now, so I'll probably have a couple of attempts at that. But ideally I need a build to go down to at least 500, and this character on this budget is not cutting out for it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably try and find a CI build to do and see if I can make this character into a CI version that I like. I've already got used to having 5 utility flasks, so it'll just be a case of getting used to that. Excuse me. So yeah, I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to go looking for a build and possibly put one together during 3.20, and then I'll if I can't make this occultist into the build, then I'll probably have to delete this one and remake another one, but I'm hoping I can redo it. As long as it can be a witch, then I should be fine, because I get a free respec at the beginning of a league. All standard characters do. Complete respec, your entire tree just becomes free to respec, so I can respec all of this and change it as required. So we'll see what goes on with that. The totem build in my bosser, I've been grinding some level 83 contracts simply because I got bored of doing it with the raider. This is a ridiculously slow character for heisting, however it packs power. This is the dex stacking coal conversion shrapnel ballista character. There's the tree. That's the gear I've got. Lots of dex. Currently sat on 1600 dex. I'm missing dex implicit rings. It's about the only thing really that I can get further. Really is getting increased dex synthesized rings and going from there. Everything else is pretty much maxed, really. Not without corrupting the gear as well. I do need to change the gloves at some point from these. I mean, they're okay, but I don't like ruining the implicit with the Exarch implicits, so I will need to find another pair of gloves, ones preferably with dex, if I can sort out my resists. So this character, once it hits 95, will be my bosser. So today, on my, dare I say, almost immortal Righteous Fire character, I did 12 bosses for the first time ever. I was trying to plan my Atlas tree based on an Atlas tree that was given to me by Bala Mage, and I kept on figuring out, I couldn't figure out why I was running out of points. Well, I did some research. I was missing these invitations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I didn't even know they gave you as passive points. So I'm on 129 of 132, and today this character did all of the 3 invitations that I could do, I had access to. So we did all of the breach bosses, pure breach stone versions without a problem. Then we did the invitation. We did all 4 of the Shaper Guardians and then the invitation, and then we did all 4 of the Sirius Guardians and the Elder Slayers and the invitation. I don't have any synth maps to run, so I now need to use my 519 Kirak missions to grind out Kirak missions to hopefully... No, I was hoping that would have been great for the video. Grab some Cortex maps from him to then run, possibly kill, and get this one done. I'm not sure I'll be able to do it, to be honest, but we'll give it a go. And then the only other invitation I have is the feed. Now, in 3.20, my main goal will be to earn enough currency to buy the invitation, buy all the boss carries, and then buy the feared carry, so I can get that point out of the way. And then that will just leave 2, I think, which is the Twisted and the Forgotten. Is it that one? Yeah. So I'll do the Forgotten myself. I'll pay for the feared, and then I'll just have a look at the Twisted and see which one that is. Probably a ridiculously horrible one to be done. What's the fear? The feared, Forgotten. No. Formed, done. Twisted. Oh, it's the eldest. Yeah, I can do that. So I just need to pick up the invitation, and then I can get that one done. So just be the feared then that I'll pay for in 3.20. This character is loosely based on Pox's Righteous Fire character. The tree is almost a direct copy of his, albeit mine is different. I prefer using a rare set of gloves for some life regen and some resists and some dex and the implicits, rather than Asnaths. I can't afford an exploded weapon or an exploded chest, so I'm using it the cheap way. I'm using Herald of Ash for my explode, all of my explode really. So because of that, I have taken the Herald nodes up here for the mana. I have taken a mana 25% increased effect mana reservation 3-point passive for Purity of Ice, and I've taken a 3 passive point mana reservation 25% increased effect for Malevolence, which means I also get some Chaos Resist, which is nice. My resists are fully capped, so I can run maps with any weakness on there, specifically Delirium Orb maps. So I've got my Skitterbots and with Unbound Elements. I've got my Defiance Banner for the anti-crit and armor stacking. I've got my Tempest Shield and my Herald of Ash with a level 3 Enlighten. Down here we've got our Frostblink Curse setup on Life Tap. We have all our auras in here with an Awakened Enlighten, Determination, Malevolence and Purity of Ice. This is a helm that I brought. I brought the eye level 85 Elder Helm from Standard Trade. I threw an alc on it. I then used pristine fossils to get it to 30% quality. I then rolled it with the elemental damage essences until I got something that I liked, and that's what I ended up with. I was going to pay for someone to enchant it, but the standard SC Trade TFT price for a lab enchant on your helm is on average 50 divines, so I wasn't going to pay that, and I don't have a lab runner yet. Something else I want to put forward in 3.20. So at some point I'll get it enchanted myself. This holds the Righteous Fire with all the relevant gems. Most of them are awakened. So yeah, this is the character. I need a better belt at some point. Other than that, we're pretty good. This is the character. Right, now we go to the new kid on the block. Badly named Garth Hunt's Ubers. I want to do Uber Legion, sorry, because one of the uniques I'm missing. Let's go to my unique tab. So as you can see, I'm 100% on most of them after buying, as I said earlier in the video, boss uniques that I can't do the bosses. There's no way. I've got medical conditions, and the way PoE designs their bosses is not friendly to people with my medical conditions. So there's no way I'll be killing these bosses unless they completely redesign every single boss they've ever done in the game. So I don't feel guilty for spending thousands of chaos and some divines orbs buying uniques for my unique collection. If I know what I know now, I would have started PoE in SSF. Unfortunately, when I started in Betrayal, there wasn't as many content creators creating content for new players as there are now. So yeah, I'm in trade. Live with that. I'm not restarting in SSF at all. If I could transfer my entire characters and my account to SSF, I would do, but that is not possible. So flasks, amulets. As you can see, I've got 3 characters wearing an Ashes of the Stars. One of them will become free. The one on this character is ridiculously bad, which is why it was in my stash. I mean, it's got the max reservation and near max experience, but the quality is minimal. So I've got a better one, and once my explosive arrow character gets leveled, I can then redistribute the gear from the raider after it's deleted and play to see who's going to get which ashes. I'm then missing a replica and 2 aspirational content amulets. Most of these rings are Delve. The precursors are all the Delve, and I've got Usaros and Pertumbas to get. And then Call of the Void and Black Flame. All the claws are done, all the daggers, wands, swords, other than Onigoroshi, which is why I'm farming it. Eventually, axes are done, maces, couple of replicas, all the bows, a couple of one replica and the fulcrum staff. All the quivers done, a few belts. I'm wearing the headhunter on this character, so I do have a headhunter, only one. Bated breath replica, headhunter replica, and a mage blood. I spent 7 leagues worth of 7. I think it's 7. When did Expedition come out? Whenever Expedition came out, I didn't do anything with Gwenon, so I've spent all my currency from when Expedition first went live to yesterday farming for a headhunter, a mage blood, and the squire shield, and I didn't get any of them. So all that currency just straight down the drain. Took me about an hour. So yeah, I'm missing mage blood. I'd like to get another headhunter just so I've got one in my unique tab, and then it's just farming even more heist for the replicas. Gloves, that's a temple upgrade. That's Uber Ziri. Hateforge obviously is Trimaster. Hand of the Thievant is Ritual, which is why I'm farming rituals on my thing, and a couple of others which I can't remember where they come from. Boots done. Chests, only the expensive rare ones. I did have a Urals fostering at one point on Inquisitor. I sold it for quite a lot of exalted orbs back then. I wish I hadn't done that now, but you know, play Sorcerer. Sporigord, Stasis Prison from Legion, Replica Lightless, Replica Pharaoh's Fur, and then the Cloak of Town. Helms, few helms missing. Most of the shields, Lab, Replica, can't remember where that one comes from. Squire, obviously, Replica, and I can't remember where Font of Thunder comes from. I think that's a Lab one, not sure. Maps are just 3 replicas, a Cortex, and the new Trialmaster one. Most of the jewels are Lab jewels and Chaiula jewels with an Unnatural Instinct. I've never owned one, ever. Never seen one, never had enough currency to buy one. So it's quite depressing. And then I've got all the heist contracts, obviously. My cards, div cards, this is the library of divination cards. All the cards in here are full stacks that I haven't turned in, of just all the div cards I've collected since I've been playing Path of Exile. Obviously new div cards come out every league, and I try and get hold of them. So yeah, getting there. Not too many left now, really, considering. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Not too many left at all. I've started to do what Lighty does as well with beasts for uniques, so I can't name them without turning the tab public. So what I need to do is turn the tab public, and it's just not index all of them, but that'll allow me to add notes, I'm hoping, so I can remember which one's which. Helmets, amulets, etc. Sort all my sell tabs out, sort out my gear tabs out. My heist is looking a lot better now. It's getting slowly. This is just gear I found I need to roll. These are just loads of maps. These are Toxic Sewer maps, which are legacy because they're not on the map, and residence maps that I'm saving to farm on Blight on when I put Blight back on my Atlas tree. And these are other just maps and things I need to run. I've got a spare trinket I found for mapping. The chance to duplicate contain rogue markers. The rest of it is just bad. But that 10% to duplicate contained rogue markers is from the smuggler's caches, which are on my Atlas passive, so that's quite good. So crafting projects, a new bow for this character. This, speaking of which, this is a Blade Vortex character. That will be hopefully leveling up to 95 and farming maps and just becoming all round awesome. mainly farming Legion. It is a Headhunter build, which means without the Headhunter this character dies. As you can see, it's only got 3k life, level 85, 86, and most of that comes from the cluster jewels, because most of the cluster jewels on this character have got towering threat, which is 8% increased life. Where is it? There it is. And I think all of my medium ones have that. Yep, 3. Apart from that one, that's a Herald one. So I'm constantly playing with the tree. So far, this character has had about 50 divines worth of currency and gear spent on it. Again, this is in standard, so all the prices are inflated slightly. It cost me a divine for 600 chromes, I think it was, to try and chrome colour the bow, until my life partner walked past. That we're getting frustrated for. I explained it to her, and she said, "Why aren't you doing this the jeweler trick you showed me?" She's never played Path of Exile. She just listens to me talk about it. So I got upset with myself and brought a divine's worth of jewelers and got the exact right colours I needed within about 4, maybe 500 jewelers, and then just added the 6th one on as the final one. So it was about under 1,000 jewelers for the entire craft. I'm now just farming up orbs of fusing, because when I'm putting this character together, I've burnt through my stash of jewelers, fusings and chromes, and my divines and my exalted orbs. The exalted orbs were used on exalt slamming cluster jewels. So I've gone through a lot of currency. I've also gone down to 4,500 chaos orbs in my storage locker, as it were. But we're slowly climbing back up. Lots of heist being done, lots of stuff being sold from my stash tabs to bring me back up again. And as I said, a lot of currency, about 3,000 chaos, was spent on buying the boss uniques that I wanted for my unique tab. So this character is converting all stuff to elemental. It's a Tri-Herald build, Herald of Ice, Herald of Ash, Herald of Purity with Zealotry, Hatred and Precision. We've got a Corrupted Asphyxia's Wrath. It's not the great one, the rolls aren't that great. I do need to spend a ton of currency on this character, getting decent gear. We've got an Ashes of the Stars as well, which has got a max reservation and an almost max experience, but the quality is min-rolled, which is why I need to play around with my Ashes of the Star with the 3 ashes I have. Once my explosive arrow character levels up, I can sort all that out. I brought this white. This was a white base I brought from standard trade. I qualityed it up, threw some essence on there, ended up with that. It'll do for now. And this holds my auras at the moment. So I've got Herald of Ash, Anom Zealotry, Enlighten, Anom Hatred, Divergent Precision, and Herald of Purity. Up here it's holding my Vortex, which is nice. This helm, I brought the base. It already had the enchantment on there, and it already had the implicits. I then scoured it and threw Dex essences on it until I hit something that I could use, and that had a spare suffix to craft the lightning resist, which is why, like I said, this character's gone. This helm has been rolled at least 50 times to try and get different setups. I ran out of juice here. I had these are up to about 8,000 or 9,000, and that was all used for reforging clusters and changing elemental resistances on this character. We got this from trade. These were about 3 or 4 divines each, both in the cost, and then throwing a couple of divines on because the attributes were too low. This I had in my stash. I just changed the implicits, and I had to do an annul because it had mana on there on a prefix, so I had to annul it. It did hit it, and I was able to craft the conversion on there. These were sat in my stash as is, apart from the influence implicits, so I added those on. And these are actually really bad boots because I do need 35% increased move speed, so at some point I need to invest in those. Although ideally I need tailwind crit boots, but then again that'll be messing around my res. So there's a lot of investment to make in this character, and this character will be the one that I'll be focused on mainly, which is why I need to play 3.20 and no life the first week or two to earn a mass amounts of currency, and put a decent mapper together to get my field invitation done, to get a lab farmer done, not Eternal Lab or Eternal Uber Lab, but Uber Lab. If you don't understand the difference, easiest way to explain it, this is commonly referred to as Uber Lab through the Offering of Goddess, the Eternal Lab, and then this is actually Uber Lab or Uber Lab, and I need a character that can farm these. So that'll hopefully be done in 3.20. I'll earn enough currency. I plan to do heist a lot in the first couple of weeks, then get a decent build up and running to do mapping, and then from there, once the meta has been shifted for 3.20 and found, hopefully I can settle on a meta build, buy that, and grind out maps, get the feed done by being carried, and then put a lab farmer together. So and I have about 5 to 6 weeks to do that. I'm hoping I'll be able to do it, but that's going to be a lot of Path of Exile for 3.20. This is the chest I had. I re-rolled the implicits, and I'm happy with those because I need res, and plus 1 max all res is always good. I've changed the colours on this multiple times until I found a nice setup. I went looking for one online specifically for Uber Legion, and the original build came from a YouTuber from 3.17. Unfortunately, I didn't make a note of the original YouTube video because I forgot. Not only that, it's now ridiculously out of date. So I then cross-referenced that to current BV occultist builds on PoE Ninja, and that took about a day to figure all out and change. And then it was playing the character, making changes, redoing the gear, playing the character, making changes, redoing the gear, and which is why I've spent so much currency on this character. Every change requires so much investment. I've burnt through over 1,000 regrets on this character, so I'm down to 1,500 in my little storage box, and it's just so much currency has been spent on this character. It's quite ridiculous, to be honest, but I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. I think I've gone through the gear. There's my one and only Headhunter. I do need another one as well. So that's all the gear. This is a really bad bow. This is the bow I need, so I just need to buy some fusings. Once I've got that bow up and running, I can then change the colours in my chest, because I need to put determination into the build. So I've got a 2-point mana reservation cluster for determination there. So I've got to fit that in, which is why I need the levels. I need to be level 95 to be able to fit in all my cluster jewels. And I've got another one there that still needs to roll because it refuses to roll Towering Threat and another decent one, preferably Vast Power and Res. And then I slam for anything, really, I don't mind. But so far I have burnt through 2,000 or 3,000 alts, a couple of thousand transmutes, a few hundred scours, a couple of hundred regals. As I said, this character so far has had about 40 to 50 divines worth of currency spent on it, plus buying gear, and it still isn't there. But this is the tree as it is now. It's gonna undergone a lot of respecs. At one point I did have to respec it pretty much down to its bare bones, and then redo it from scratch. The original build had 3 cluster setups. It had one down here as well. Eventually this build would have Forbidden Flesh and Flame Jewels in it, but so far I'm more bothered about getting the levels done on it, and then I can invest in the jewels, because one of the Forbiddens will sit here, and hopefully I can drop the Conqueror's Efficiency, so the other Forbidden will sit in that slot. I'm not sure yet, I haven't got that far. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've had a massive plough through of my stash tabs. It still needs tidying up. I've got all these crafting projects I need to finish. This is a replacement. This is actually better than my Death Oath character is wearing. That just needs to be 6-linked. I found this and I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it, so it's just kind of sat there. I don't know what to do with it. This is waiting to be enchanted. I need to roll this. I need to roll these 4. That's another area damage I've been trying to roll. That I'm trying to roll and then sell. That I'm trying to roll. And that I should be selling as is, really. Sorry, bit of a ramble. Right, I know it's been pretty long, but that's a weekly update. The next one will be shorter, hopefully in approximately 7 to 8 days time. I hope you found this enjoyable. Down below in the description I will link Lighty's playlist for his All for One series. If you're feeling a bit lost in PoE, I heavily suggest you watch it. It has helped me, ground me out. You also can see him go through the ups and downs, the trials, the tribulations. It's absolutely wonderful series to watch if you've got a fair few hours, or you just want something to do while you're doing house chores. Anyway, also down below will be my House Health and Hinks guide as usual, and my standard characters, my permanent standard characters list, what they're for, and the updated POBs. Other than this one does not have a POB at the moment, because every time I play it the points shift, and until I get to level 95 and start proper mapping, proper juice mapping, and then I'll finally settle just in time for 3.20 to hit probably, and it'll all change again. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Let me know down below in comments if you found this interesting or not. Got any advice to how I can do these videos better, please let me know. Twitter, comment on YouTube, or come find me on Discord. Most of the time I have Discord open unless I'm recording a video, so you can PM me there, or Heist channel TFT. They're the best two to get me on, if it's relevant to Heist, obviously, in the Heist channel TFT. Have great times, stay safe in Rogue Harbour, and sorry for rambling at the end.